All right. So today we're going to discuss lemon and mandarin, basil, lemon myrtle, lemongrass, and wintergreen. So if you're watching this on the replay, run and get those oils because you're going to want to open them up and use them. You know, what good do they do if they just sit there on our shelf? And we bought them for a reason. We bought them to use them because they're plants, they're aromatic, beautiful, beautiful scents. So use them. So I'm going to be talking about Sukkot today for the month of Tishre because I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting excited. We are just so excited about it. So Sukkot, we sleep in booths, right? That's what the word says, sleep in booths. Lots of us go camping. Another view is that the holiday commemorates clouds of glory. And I love that because I've always told my kids, hey, when the cloud's moving, I'm moving. If the cloud's staying, I'm staying. And what those clouds of glory did was they literally enveloped the people that came out of Egypt and protected them in the desert. And I mean, isn't that what we want? We want that protection from our Father. Once they settled down in that wandering and they had a real roof over their head, we still build the sukkah. We still build it. And if you ever go to Israel, you'll see sukkahs everywhere because they literally put them where they're living. I don't know, but I don't think they go camping like we do, which is interesting because the word does say put it at your house. So on that night, when they left Egypt, you know, that was a big deal. And it's a big deal for us. It was a big deal for our father. But for us, because we were called out to trust him. And this gift of Sukkot is a gift of trust. It's a gift of love. It's a gift of faith that as people give our creator something back, we give him the gift. We reciprocate to him of celebrating. He asked us to, so why not? And it's the gifts that we're asked to remember. This is a gift. Celebrating, observing Sukkot is a gift. And we're asked to remember and recreate it each and every year, each and every Sukkot, so that we don't forget that protection from our Father. So who's excited? You can raise your hand. Who is excited? I am. Okay, so what I find about when the Israelites left Egypt, it states in Ezekiel 12, or not Ezekiel, Exodus 12, 31 and 32, that Pharaoh, after finding his son, after he found that he died, yeah, Trish is excited. He called for Moses and Aaron at night and said, "Rise up, get out from among my people, both you and the sons of Israel, and go. Worship God as you have said, the Lord as you have said. Take your flocks and your herds as you've said, and go, and bless me also." He wanted the blessing too. Now the sons of Israel's journeyed to Ramses to Sukkoth, about 600 men on foot, aside from the children. 600,000 men. A mixed multitude also went up with them, along with the flocks and the herds, very large number of livestock. They baked the dough that they brought out of Egypt into cakes of unleavened bread, for it had not become leaven. Since they were driven out of Egypt, they could not delay, nor had they any time to prepare any provisions for themselves. And I thought, when I read that this year, I was like, oh my goodness, we always think of this as Passover, right? Like they came out, they did this, but we hear the word Sukkoth here, and that's what did they do? They lived in booths, but they observed by baking their bread. So I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I have to look more into that. And I bet anything Amanda's going to look at it too, if she hasn't already thought about it, because Sukkot, Passover, they're both, 7 days. And I just find it interesting. So each day of the holiday of Sukkot, excluding the Sabbath, we in Israel, and we saw this done, we had Jewish men come up to my husband and my son, and do this. And what I'm talking about is the lulav and the etrog set. Have you heard of it? And we wave it, and they waved it, and it's spices. But they move it for these 4 spices 3 different times in each of the directions, and they immediately recite a blessing that goes with it. And so many do this by extending the 4 spices in each direction, east, north, south, east, and west, and then facing east and, waving it like this, in each direction. Another explanation is for doing this is they bring it to their heart. And then if you look at kabod.org, they face east and they remain there the entire time, and they extend the lulav and the etrog to the prescribed direction and then bring the 4 spices close enough to actually touch their chest, which I loved because that's where our heart's located. And that's what all of this is about. And so I do the Shema and I do it to movement, and it's all about our heart. And so I just love it. So what is it that they're doing? This movement, this etrog, well, the lulav, it's the spices, and they represent different things. But I love that they represent, and the sages actually explain it as a manifestation of the divine presence. The Shekinah, that's like the west, stems from the west. So figuratively, when we're facing east, south would be to the right, north would be to the left. The right hand represents kindness. So there's so much with the activities for Sukkot. We think of, at least I have, maybe it's just me. Raise your hand if it's just me, if you're in here with me. I just thought, oh, we go and we camp for Sukkot, and okay, I don't know a lot about that wave offering of the lulav and the etrog, but I don't really understand it, but okay. And as I dug into this, I was like, wow, there's so much here, because the waving of it represents the different characteristics that we want to be. Hesed, Gevurah, Tefret, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malhut. So you got kindness, discipline, harmony, perseverance, submission, connection, and bringing those 4 spices to the heart is about communication. Him communicating with us communicating with him, letting it get into our heart. So I don't know. Does anybody find that really cool? Not seeing any hands. So I don't know if y'all are with me or not, but I love it.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Debbie, because I'm thinking of the camps and the lead camps, I guess, around the tabernacle, and the south is man. So it's interesting that all of those connections with communications and how to treat your fellow man are what's in the south on that right hand.
Oh, wow, that's good. That's really good. And don't we work through these attributes? You know, there's 7, and what is it, 7 weeks coming up? And each week we're working on a new one. And you can even do this the 7 days of Sukkot. Day 1, all about kindness. Day 2, all about discipline. Day 3, harmony. I love that. So it's amazing, just the intricate nature that our Father wove everything together for us. I love it. I love it. So yeah, right hand represents kindness. And it's interesting because the left hand does represent discipline. East and west would then correspond with the center attributes of harmony and connection, respectively. So perseverance and submission are represented by the upward and downward movements. I mean, they've got this. Wow, there's so much depth here, ladies. So I encourage you to go to Chabad.org and look it up, learn more about our Father and these precious gifts that he's given us, and these precious things that our brother Judah, our brothers and sisters do, and why. So let's get to the actual etrog and lulav. So do we know what that is? Do we know what those are?
Debbie, can you say those 7 again? Kindness, discipline, harmony.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next?
Perseverance,
Yep.
submission,
Yeah.
connection,
Uh-huh.
and then communication.
Connection and communication. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Okay, so if you haven't already, go ahead and get your lemon. So the etrog is a native fruit of Israel. It's a citrus, and lemon. Okay, so why did I pick mandarin? Well, because the two of them together is what that etrog smells like, that certain citrus. So you can smell them together. And I love that. And it's all about opening our heart. Lemon is all about opening our heart, concentration. It aids with concentration. It supports the emotional body, our mental our mental capacity. It's great for children who struggle with school. It can help bring focus. So don't you love that? Like, we already learned about our heart, and who thinks that's awesome? And then the mandarin again is let me find mandarin is again childlike. It has a childlike perspective. And so physically, both of these are pressed. They're not extracted with any chemicals or anything. They have to press the fruit, the skin of the fruit, to get the essential oil out from it. And I love it because mandarin has soothing properties for the nervous system. And it can be supportive for the digestive system as well. It has a lot of limonene, all citruses, but yeah, so healthy for us, cleansing out the crud, right? Cleansing out the gook, the muck, the mire. I mean, think of all those things that come to mind as you think about cleansing. So as we wave that etrog, we are cleansing. We're thinking about cleansing. When we use the oils, we're cleansing. We're cleansing the atmosphere. We're cleansing our home of pathogens if we're diffusing it. We're cleansing the inside because it has the ability to break up and dissolve petrochemicals, toxins that are within our body. So it can help support our cardiovascular system by helping cleanse out some of the stuff that needs to be cleansed, right? I mean, how often do we go through cleanses? If you've been listening to any of these calls, you know I've talked about fasting and cleansing. So they all go together, and I love that they all go together. So the etrog, think about it. Think of it as cleansing and waving it, cleansing the atmosphere. We're physically doing something. Now, mandarin can also be a good support for us parents or grandparents watching our grandchildren. And what I mean by that is we can get very caught up in the to-do list, right? Who's with me? The to-do list, the this, the that, and we can get frustrated with our children because they're getting into something, or they're doing this, or they're doing that. But what this can do for a parent is kind of call us back to that magic, if I can say that, and that miracle of a child learning and exploring their surroundings. You know, my grandsons, and my granddaughters, they come over here and they're like, ooh, grandma's house, you know, like there's so much to look at and do and play. And we've got a long hallway and they run back and forth and they go in the bedrooms or in my office. And you just, I stop and I stand back and I watch them, and they're not like purposely destructive or wanting to make a mess. They're exploring. And so if you have a child that is an explorer, maybe diffusing these two together to get that, or even just the mandarin, to get that sense of child, viewing your child from a child's eyes, like it's so fun. It's so fun. Yeah, can help cut through some of those thoughts that are clogging our minds, help making us get distracted. Love these two. And you can put all of these together too. So now I want to go to basil, because basil represents the palm tree. We put a palm with that. That lulav is a palm branch that's in there. And so, did y'all know that? Y'all probably knew this.
I did not know that. I was actually going to ask you, why is it connected?
Yeah. Well, because the righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. So,
okay, so what is that? I don't understand why basil is connected to.
Because basil helps flourish, renewal. When I think of flourish, it's renewal. It's what are we looking to do when we celebrate and we observe these? We're looking to flourish. He talks about it. He like day 3, we want to flourish. We want to be like the plants and the trees and growing the fruit that he wants. So for me, when I was praying, basil is what came to me, because it's about renewal. And isn't that what we're doing during these feasts, Sukkot? We've been renewing our mind. It's about renewing our mind. You can look at significance of palm trees, but they stand upright. Some trees are irregular, some are twisted. But the palm tree grows straight up pretty much, unless something's happened in the roots and it makes it, go like this. But even if a palm tree, instead of being like this, if for some reason it goes to the angle, it will literally start growing like that because it wants to grow up. It wants to grow and renew and be fruitful. So it is from, I believe, the date palm that they choose those. Think about that. Think of the date palm. It's a fruit-bearing tree. We love dates, right? Medjool dates. Who loves medjool dates? I know I do. Stuff them with some goat cheese and an almond. They're great. And they're nutritious. So the date can also sustain us for a very long time without any other kind of food. I know it's pretty remarkable, but it's a picture of a righteous man as well. He bears fruit. He is also expected to bear much fruit, right? And I think of Yeshua when he's talking about throwing the seeds. What's going to bear fruit? Makes me think of the fig tree. I know the fig tree, but think of the date because it's strong, it's righteous, and we can become a little weak. We can become overwhelmed. We can become, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do, flustered. And what basil can do, our adrenals can give out on us when we have too much activity and we become over flustered, overdoing it, bearing too much, right? So basil can help reset those, bringing renewal. The smell of it brings strength to our heart, relaxes our mind. I mean, it's such a beautiful fragrance. And I don't know about you, but I love lemon basil. Have you all ever had that? Trish, you're a gardener. Have you ever had lemon basil? And the two of them together.
It's one of my favorites. Like I like growing it, but I haven't seen any. I used to be able to find it when I was in Virginia a lot, but come to think of it, I haven't seen it around down here. I should look back into it.
Yeah, I love it. I saved seeds, so I have to, as I get my garden going again, I'm going to have to dig for my seeds because it's one of those I love. Yeah. All right. So the palm tree is also beautiful. Think about you drive in Florida or even Alabama, right? There's palm trees there and they're beautiful. I mean, they're just tropical. They create that sense of tranquility. They're just beautiful. And so the palm tree represents beauty. It also represents elasticity. And what that means is it's flexible. Like it can be, think of that hurricane that's threatening right now. Those palm trees, I mean, I lived in Florida 50 years, so I've seen them bend way over. They're flexible. They're elastic. When they get those big old huge seed pods and the dates start growing, I mean, that's a lot of weight, but it still grows up, it still grows to the sky, to the Father. It also represents triumph because it doesn't it doesn't have much fruit in the beginning. It takes time to get that fruit. So triumph. And I love 2 Corinthians 4:16 because it says, therefore do not lose heart, but though our outer man is decaying, our inner man is being renewed. For momentary light affliction is producing in us an external weight of glory far beyond all comparison. While we look at We'll look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are not seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So that's why I think there's so much with basil. It's about renewal. Renew me. We ask this, renew me. And Sukkot is kind of one of those times too.
What was that verse again, Debbie?
2 Corinthians 4:16, 17, and 18. So I love that. If you're under a great deal of mental stress, your basil is going to help with that because aromas have a way of working. They just work. It's I believe it's the fastest thing to change our emotional state. And think about it. Think about when you're walking somewhere and you smell a scent and it transports you to another place, and it either makes you go, oh, or it makes you go, oh, that is so nice. I love that fragrance, you know? So, yeah.
Debbie, I just wanted to mention too, you just mentioned about the fragrance either makes you go ooh or eh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our longest memory comes from our scent.
Yes.
We smell something, we remember it. And I have that with a certain candy my grandma used to have, and she's been gone since I was 12. There's a certain scent and it totally reminds me of the candy on her buffet.
Oh, and don't you love that?
Yes.
And that in and of itself can be renewing, right? Because we're talking about renewal right now. But basil has a beautiful scent. I know some people are like, well, if you're like you don't like it, that probably means your body needs it. Maybe you're overstressed and you need some renewal if you're smelling basil. And I mean, I walk and I'll see a basil, or I'll see, somewhere if I'm at we used to go to Busch Gardens all the time, and I would go by and look at all their spices around the one building because they would use them, and and I'd smell, and my kids would just laugh at me because I'm like, it's just good. It's good. All right, so our next one. The next one is myrtle. And myrtle. Why would they put myrtle? Why would I choose myrtle? Is because, and lemongrass. So if you've got myrtle and lemongrass, get them out together because they're very similar in their chemical compounds. And let's see if we smell them. Yeah, they smell similar. Get your oils and check it out because they do smell similar, and they are very similar in their attributes chemical wise. They have very similar supportive benefits for emotions and physical. And that's what this is all about. If we're going to smell a fragrance, we can know that it's going to do something physical as well as emotional. Yes, Amanda.
So if we have lemongrass and not
Mhm.
myrtle, we can just kind of substitute that and not necessarily need to use both.
Yeah, in this, I mean, myrtle is what they have in the lulav, but if you don't have myrtle, you can use, because we're using these for emotional reasons as well as physical. So some people may not have lemon myrtle, so if you don't and you want to get it, let me know and I can send you a link that I get it from, and you can, yeah. But they smell very similar. In vitro studies have reported to have antioxidant activity. Isn't that interesting? And support natural cellular and antioxidants and related enzymes. So as a result, it can promote healthy, normal function of your cells, specifically your liver cells with DNA replication. So this is all about healing emotionally and physically. So lemon myrtle is bright, it's refreshing, it's uplifting, it's extremely effective in cutting through mental fogginess. And I don't know about y'all, but when the feasts is, when we have a longer feast like Passover and Sukkot, the activities can towards the end create some mental fog, so to speak, because you're up, you're on, you're going, you're doing. And so we need to kind of cut through that. That's where this is going to come in. We tend to go as moms, as women, as women, we tend to go on autopilot. We've got so many things to do. We can become overstimulated during the feasts, it's such a fun time, but we can become overstimulated with new experiences. I mean, even just this with what I've been talking about, new information, new experiences. Let's cut through some of that and use our lemon myrtle. Now, lemongrass is again similar, so you're going to use it similar. Lemongrass also aids with healthy digestion and acts as a overall tonic, so to speak, for cleansing. And what is it cleansing? It's great for our heart and cholesterol. So think of that cleansing action. We're cleansing our emotions, cleansing our insides. Who loves lemongrass tea? Does anybody? Or lemongrass Asian food? I do. Amanda, do you? I saw you unmuted.
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying, Carla typed it into the chat that she drinks lemongrass for cholesterol. Like she's ahead of you.
Yes.
She got it.
Yes, exactly. It's so good. Because it helps, again, it's that clarifying, it's helping to clean out and get rid of some of that extra cholesterol. It's a powerful lemongrass. I've talked on this before many times. It is a powerful cleanser of energy. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about here. But when you go into a room or you walk up to a cashier, you can kind of feel the atmosphere, feel the energy of the area. So maybe if that energy is in your home or somewhere you go, maybe bring a diffuser and do a little, cleanse the energy. Yeah. If you're entering a healing mode, lemongrass is terrific to help with our emotional state as we're going into that cleansing time. It helps us to move forward. And the smell of these together, even though they're similar, it's so good. And we want to continue having the Father teach us, talk to us, share with us, help us to move forward, continuing that healing. And yeah, so all of these together. And we're going to smell them all at the end too. So, all right. The next one is, did I talk about mandarin? I did. I have 2 mandarins sitting here. So yeah, got me thrown off. But mandarin is just, I love it. All right. So now the next, go ahead.
I was gonna say, does it matter which mandarin? Like I have yellow mandarin. I know there's red mandarin and
yeah, and
I have that one too, but
yeah, I think it's fine. I've read that they all have that sweetness and they're more than likely very similar in
Okay.
their chemical makeup because they're citruses, you know. Okay, so the next one we come to is willow. That's what's in, that's the fourth one, willow. And so what I chose here for willow is wintergreen. Now I'm going to tell you about willow first, and you'll get why I chose this. Does anybody have any ideas before I start why I would have chosen it?
Is it the fourth tree mentioned in Isaiah 41
Wintergreen?
or willow?
Willow? I'm not
Is that-
sure.
Is that what you were?
I'm
I
talking
was
about
trying to
willow.
guess that that's why you were
Mm,
choosing it. No.
no. So Isaiah, what? I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh, I'm joking. Oh, myrtle. Never mind. Olive tree
Myrtle?
is fourth. I don't know what
Okay.
I'm talking about. Willow's not in there.
Okay. But myrtle, so hey, there you go. Maybe there's
Yeah,
something
myrtle's
there.
on 3, which is interesting.
Isaiah, what?
41, 19 to 20. Or I guess just 19.
Okay, cool. I'll have to look that up. Okay, so willow. The attributes of willow are, well, it contains a chemical called salicin, and that has anti-inflammatory effects. Okay. And that salicin works in similar ways to I'm so bad at pronouncing words. It's terrible. But anyway, it's an active ingredient in aspirin. And in the 1800s, when they were discovering all the things in America and stuff, that's actually how Bayer aspirin started. Mr. Bayer and his partner, and I can't remember his partner's name, they understood that willow has anti-inflammatory effects. So they developed aspirin. Now, white willow, I will tell you, it's great for head pressure, anything that you would take an aspirin or even a Tylenol for. Let's get away from those because those are made in a lab. White willow may take a little longer than aspirin to kick in, but it can last longer. The effects of it can last longer. So if you're dealing with something that is inflamed, a chronic inflammation situation, you can think about, that pain relief in that sense. So yeah. White willow also has fewer side effects than aspirin does. And it's so good. I've used white willow bark for years. Now, why did I choose wintergreen? Because it is also anti-inflammatory. It has pain relieving aspects of it that they're both terrific for pain. Salicin is found in both of them. And I'm talking about topically here with the wintergreen because, and I use doTERRA, and I know a lot of you do. But the research that's been done on wintergreen is that we should not ingest wintergreen, that we should use it topically. Now, I know there's gum with wintergreen, there's toothpaste with wintergreen. Would I possibly use it internally? A little dab and a taste? Yes, possibly, because less is better. And I think that's why they say not to use it internally, because I don't know about y'all, but most people, they like to think more is better, but more is not better. Less is usually better. More often is usually better. So anyway, just throwing that out there. Now, why would we want to use wintergreen instead of aspirin? Because some people are allergic to aspirin, but you can use wintergreen topically if you've got pain. And this was one of the ones that I used on my husband's shoulder before he had surgery. I have I think there were 5 that I used, and he actually had to stop using like the 5 that I chose for him to make sure he still needed shoulder surgery. So that's the effect of what these oils can do topically. They can just help. Now, wintergreen is all about surrendering. So think of, and I'm going to go physical here. Think of you exercise, you were gardening, you were up and down, up and down, up and down, and your legs are really talking to you. They're screaming at you, in fact. Your glutes, your hamstrings. Has anybody done that, or has it just been me when you've gardened?
Me.
Yeah. Good. I'm not the only one. Anyway, so you can use your wintergreen on those. What does that do emotionally? Causes us to surrender. Causes our muscles to surrender, letting go. We have a tendency to want to know. We want to know. We need to know this. We need to know that. We are so in love with learning and knowing and growing that we could spend all day long, because I know I'm with you. And some Shabbat, like that's my Shabbat. I get to study all day. I get to be with him all day and learn from his word. And I love it. But sometimes we need to surrender. So the willow is teaching us, the wintergreen is teaching us to surrender. And, you know, when I go back and I think about those attributes of surrender, or those attributes, I'm sorry, the 7: kindness, discipline, harmony, perseverance, submission is number 1. No, one of them, connection and communication. Sometimes I have to surrender in those things. So I love that this is chosen, and it is inflammation reducing, because sometimes we just need that. We need to have that. So when we diffuse these in our home, right? We've got Sukkot going, we're camping, we're doing all the stuff. Maybe we just need to surrender to activities, to some things, and surrender to Father. And I don't know what that means for you all. I know what it means for me. Surrendering my will versus going forth and doing it. Because when I don't surrender, I can get really tense, really tight in different muscles, and oh boy, yeah. So, but when that does happen, because it does, even though I have these oils and I diffuse them and I use them, we're all human, and it can just creep up on us. So now I've got all of these and I'm smelling them all. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud for you all. I just hit my mic. But I encourage you, get them all and smell them together. Drop them into your diffuser and let the aroma change the atmosphere. The fragrance can help us to surrender, can help us to cleanse those thoughts and refocus them, can help us to cleanse what needs cleansed in us. And so, yeah, all of this month that begins tonight too is about our reproductive organs. And I think about that, and I read to you about the in vitro study. What is our reproduction organs? It's birthing. And that's what our Father wants. He wants to birth in us what he has already put there, what he has already given us. But we're so caught up in all of those daily activities that we need a little help sometimes. And that's where the fragrances can help. You can also make a roller ball with these. Make a little roller ball. I don't have one right here to show you, but you remember the old lip gloss roller balls, right? When we were kids. Make a roller ball with them and roll them on, because as you apply them to your body, they're going to ease that tension. They're going to ease that muscle. They're going to reduce that inflammation, both physically and emotionally. So I'm going to open it up to questions. You guys have been so quiet. Deep blue, wintergreen,
I had a
for.
question.
Go ahead.
Going back to the wintergreen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that those, like over the counter chemically made pain relieving creams, is that what it has in it? Is that where it comes from? Like I have the deep blue stuff like that, but is that basically what they're trying to mimic?
Yes. Yes. Okay. And there are other, birch is another one that's great for reducing inflammation and pain. But yeah, those type of essential oils can help do that. And that is why and now you'll see, mimic is the key word. You'll see now on a lot of the products that you can go and get over the counter, they're actually putting on there with essential oils, and they'll list them, and they only have to have, a bottle that you buy at the store. I'm sure you all know this, only has to have 5% in that bottle, 5% of an essential oil, and then they can put whatever else they want in there. So be careful. Be careful. So do y'all want to go and wave your Lulav and Etrog in a different way now and have the fragrances in your home diffusing?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Marion, how about you? I know you use them too. And I can just see Tish. She's going to have it all over. Yep. Peppermint is good to use too. If you have head pressure, just a dab where you have it, but you can also use wintergreen. You can use any of these that have that property for the pain relief, inflammation reducing, because it's that salicin that is in there. That's the chemical that causes that pain reducing. Wintergreen's also been used as a flavoring, like I said, for toothpaste and gum. So, they do use aspects of it, but they're typically generated in a lab. And I don't know about you, but I don't want what's generated in a lab inside me, if I can help it.
Debbie, you reminded me less is better.
Less is better.
Mental note.
Less is better. More often. Just do it more often. I know it can be a pain, especially for our guys. I don't know about y'all, but they think it's one and done. And no, it's not always. You have to reapply, but that's Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, so I'm glad Tish brought that back up because I will diffuse things and it smells so good and I smell it and everything. And then, you end up getting nose blind to it. And so what do you like at that point? Then I'm like, I need more because I'm not smelling it. Like, what is your remedy for that?
How long are you diffusing or smelling them?
Probably, I mean, hours. Like I'll just
Mhm.
I have a big diffuser that lasts like 8-10 hours. So
Okay.
yeah.
I would say go outside, open a window, put the fans on, and then redo it. That's
Okay.
worked for me in the past.
All right. So is that something, I always think of trying to diffuse other, do something else so that I become accustomed to that smell and then go back to it.
You can. Yeah.
Well, but then I feel like what it does is it conglomerates all those smells in the diffuser. What's the best way to counteract that?
Just wipe it out. Wipe out
Okay.
the diffuser. Yeah, when you go to put, I'm assuming you have water that you add to it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, just wipe it out.
Maybe that's the problem. I don't feel like it gets out, probably because more is not less.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
less is
That
not more.
right. And you can use a
Yeah, so
Q-tip for those little areas too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, vinegar water.
Yeah. Rinse
Oh,
it with a
that's what
little
Kimberly
vinegar.
said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amanda, you mentioned about being like blind to the smell. There are times that people will say, "You always smell so good, Tish." And then I'm like, I do? Like, because I guess I get used to that. I'm used to it, I guess. So
Right.
change it up a little bit. I'm kind of a walking, wandering essential oil.
Me too.
Yeah. So people, they smell it and I'm so used to it. Even when I shift them around, my nose becomes blind to that. But good idea on the fresh air and then come back in,
Mm-hmm.
Debbie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've noticed that where you forget that it's even diffusing. And then when you go out and come back in, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, Carla, definitely love cleaning with vinegar. And I will do a spray with the vinegar and I'll add whatever scents that I want to kind of cut that vinegar smell. And then you've got the action, the cleaning action of the oil too, and the disinfecting, the antibacterial aspect of it, the antiviral aspect of it, for my counters, I even use them for cleaning my bathroom. I mean, truly, I do. And I'll change it up. I do use the On Guard a lot, but I'll change it up and I'll do lemongrass. Have you all ever cleaned your house with lemongrass? Try it. Oh, it's amazing. And I think it's because it just brings gladness to my heart. It's so good. Yeah. Purify, yes. Love Purify. That's in the beginning, one of my favorites. Love them. All right, let me see if I missed any. Yeah, Carla, pull in lots of muscles gardening, right? And aspirin will tear up your stomach and the very thinning to the blood, yes. So think of our elderly as we begin using the oils differently, you know. If they're taking aspirin, you want to be careful with certain oils, because are they taking aspirin to thin their blood? Well, you don't want to thin it more, you know. Think of white vinegar, clean, apple cider vinegar, eat apple. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. That is true. And you can add apple cider vinegar to beans if you've got dried beans and let them sit for a few hours, and it helps them break down easier. Don't know if y'all knew that. And if you're
If you
making,
do,
go ahead.
sorry, if you do that, does it taste,
Mm-mm.
do you taste it?
Nope. Because you only add a
Really?
little bit and then you just stir it around. Apple cider vinegar has the mother with it, so
Right.
it's eating and doing all that. You can dump that water out and then just put new water, or you can just do it in that. Yeah, I've not had any issues, and I use a little bit. I will do that with my bones to make stock. So I just made turkey stock because I want to make turkey chili, but my husband wants regular chili. So, but anyway, you just put a little bit of the apple cider vinegar in there and let it soak, kind of swirl it around, let it soak, and it helps to break it down a little better too and get out all that good stuff.
Can you define a little bit for me?
Can I what?
Define a little bit.
Oh, like tablespoon, 2
Oh,
tablespoons.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like not a lot. And I don't measure, I just kind of pour a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if a little bit meant, well, I'm using 8 cups of water for the beans. So does that mean like 2 cups or just
No.
okay.
No.
Okay.
Then it would probably taste bad.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But yeah. Silly doctor wanted me to take aspirin. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. No. Old age. No. If you're able to have a baby, that is not old. I know the world would tell us that 47's old, but it's not. I've known people 45, 47. That's not old. We are the new old. We're not getting old. All right. Yes. Does anybody know about oh gosh, Good Girl Moonshine?
I love that stuff. I
Yep,
like live on it.
me too. Do y'all want to know about it? No, tell me more. Okay. Good Girl Moonshine is the Trim Healthy Mama. That's where it started, I believe, or where I first heard of it. And it is basically you can take tea, I like it with bubbly water or even just water because I don't drink bubbly water all day long. In fact, I haven't had bubbly water for couple of weeks now, but I will just take my glass of water, add, I can do up to a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more, but you want to start out with a little bit, like a teaspoon, till you get used to the flavor if you're not used to it. And then I will add my ginger oil, or you can take, because how many of us keep fresh ginger at home all the time? But you can take and grate fresh ginger into that water or tea. You can even use juice, like a little bit of juice, because you don't want a lot of sugar, in my opinion. And then you add your ginger, and I have added lemon, lemongrass, I've added mandarin, and I've even done like basil and rosemary just to give a different flavor. But you add a little bit of that apple cider vinegar and it makes it refreshing. Apple cider vinegar is great to cleanse us, help cleanse use ginger tea bags. There you go. But if you haven't tried it, be brave, try it. It might be your new favorite drink. Ginger's great for digestion. Yes. So think of that ginger, and ginger is good for our liver, cleansing. Now it's a little bit different attribute than the actual, grating it, but it's still good. It's a warming herb. So warming herbs good for liver. Yep, you can put a little bit of honey in there. I don't usually add any sugar. Sometimes I'll add honey, but just because I got away from, I didn't want to have to rely on every time I had tea to have sugar. So I've gotten away from it, but sometimes I will do that if I want something a little different. My
I do.
husband likes-
I don't put honey in like in tea when I drink tea, but when I make the Good Girl moonshine, I make it in like the big mason jar, and I'll
Mm,
let the tea bag steep for about an hour, and then I'll put a little bit of honey in it, and then put the apple cider vinegar, and then I'll leave it in the fridge. And
yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't done that yet. I mean, to just leave it in the fridge because I usually just drink my water room temp, but I'll have to do that. Vinegar
drink-
eggs. Go
I
ahead.
drink water room temp, but I don't know. I like that. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna do that because I love the Good Girl moonshine. It's just good. Yeah, so don't laugh, we make vinegar eggs. I've heard of other people making vinegar eggs, but I don't know how to do it. And Amanda, what is it that he does? Is it the ginger that he does for gout?
ACV.
ACV.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Good. That and your wintergreen or birch. If he's got muscle pain with that, pain in the ankles or legs.
Well, it's not so much muscle, it's those joints.
Yeah.
So,
Joints.
'cause
Yeah.
that's where it settles in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See
Do
if
you,
the
so would you recommend, because when he gets it, it will be so bad that you can't even like touch it. Like he,
yeah.
so, but you just talked about not consuming wintergreen. So that's like a topical thing though, right?
Yeah. I would have
Yeah.
him put it on, or very lightly put it on.
Gotcha.
Because yeah, I think it would help with that pain. Because I mean,
Yeah.
wintergreen is,
Well, hopefully he doesn't get another flare up anytime soon. So,
right. He does the ACV.
he does it when he gets flare-ups, and it seems like the flare-ups are like, I don't know if it's seasonal, like having to do with our seasons, but it just goes in spurts, right?
Yeah.
And so he hasn't had a flare-up in a long time, but when he does, what he does is he just takes the shot. Like he literally drinks like 4 ounces at a
Oh,
time, and
he's
it's so
brave.
bad, and he can't, no, but he's like, it's not as bad as the gout.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he does it and he hates it, and he's like, it's gross. So when he's not having a flare up, it's really difficult for him to,
Mm,
even use a little bit because that memory is there.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's interesting that it's different seasons. Does he get it more flare-ups in the summer?
Well, that's what I mean. It's not necessarily tied to like our 4 seasons. It goes in spurts. Like he'll
Mm,
get it for a while and then he won't get it for a while. And then he'll have, 3 or 4 flare-ups in a couple months, and then he'll go months without having it. So
mhm. Is there something, and these are just things that I would ask a client, is there something that he's doing beforehand? Like, has he ever,
that's what he's working on now, is trying
good,
to figure it out.
good. Yeah.
But yeah, every time he thinks he's got it figured out, then I'll have flare up and he's like, okay, well, that wasn't it. So it's just a process.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, soaks, turmeric, like we've done everything. Like he's done everything.
Right.
So
Right.
because he's
Okay.
been dealing with this for years, but I don't know. I feel like it's something genetic. His dad had gout, his uncles, his grandfather, like it just really runs in his family, it seems like.
Okay. So you and I need to talk because there could be an emotional, um, trapped trapped emotional that is generational.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I'll give you
yeah,
a call. I'll text you
yeah.
later in the week
Okay.
and
Yeah.
we'll chat.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, this study that I just pulled up, it says that acute gout attacks are more common in the spring compared to the winter.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna have to track that. I'll have
yeah,
to
just
keep that in mind
see.
and track it.
Yeah. Yeah, no correlation either with monthly temperature or humidity, but significantly more during the spring. So
I'll
that's
have
just
to go
one.
back and think and talk to him about that because I actually want to say that it's been several months since he's had a flare up. So it might have been like late spring. So I'll have to ask him that.
That and, okay, so what is it that's causing the inflammation? And think about allergens, you know? So as the Father's going to reveal it to you. He wants
Yeah,
us to be healthy. So he'll eventually reveal it like, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, an allergen is what comes to my mind. I could be totally wrong. I'm okay to say I could be totally wrong, but that's what comes to mind because spring, there's a lot of allergens, lots blooming.
that's true. That's true.
So in that case, start doing the honey, the ACV, all of those things, and that's going to help flush him out. Honey's going to put good things into him, get local, add lemon, add your different cleansing things that he can even just roll on or diffuse them. Yeah.
Those are some great tips. Thank you.
You're
Appreciate that.
welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. All right, ladies. Any more questions? Are we all excited? What are y'all doing for Sukkot? Where are you going? What are you doing?
We're gonna go camping.
Where at?
Bass Lake in Parrish, New York.
Ooh, I love it.
Well, if you're in the area, you're welcome to come.
Well, we're going to the beach.
That sounds good too.
Amanda, where are you going? What are you doing?
We're heading up to Tennessee. We're going to Eagle Rock for a few days.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought you were on the list. So
I
guess not. You're going to-
was.
Oh,
I
okay.
was,
So
but yeah, because my kids asked, what do we want to do for Sukkot this year? And another one's like, I want to go to the beach. And then another, I want to go to the beach. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to the beach.
yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll
And
do
I'm
that for a few days and then we'll do Sukkah in our backyard.
okay. Well, if you want to go to the Panhandle, that's where we'll
Oh,
be. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Might have to.
Yeah. Come down for a
I
day or
love the
two.
beach. I might come by myself because
Do
my family
it.
is not beach people, but
Oh gosh. Yeah. Come on down. Yeah. And I want to, now that I'm in the Creation Gospel trainers group, and I saw what's her name? I can't think of her name. She did the Creation Gospel that she's going to do during the week and was given ideas.
oh yeah, Stacy.
Stacy. I've been gathering my stuff for doing some Creation Gospel with the kids.
Oh, that's
Grandkids.
exciting. Yeah, with your
Yeah.
grandbabies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll have to show you. I just got this because it's so cute. It's the days of creation
Oh, that's
and
so cute.
it's felt. But what I can do is actually take and make copies of it so that they can play,
Yeah.
and do different lesson things with it. So I'm excited about that. Anyway, all right. What are you doing, Misty? For Sukkot?
I don't know yet. We're gonna determine that today for sure. My nephew